HBCU segment, but because I know you have a lot to say. Because we talked before we took the week off last week for Thanksgiving, that the possibility of FAMU earning an at-large spot, which they did. I know you have some thoughts about that as far as the conditions. Obviously, they met them, even though they got the asses kicked by Southeast Louisiana. But I want you to just tell me when we're on with that and any other HBCU sports events that the public should know about, be informed about.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll start with the game with Florida A&M in Southeast Louisiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression going into that game that, the defense of Florida A&M will probably be the most competitive defense that Southeast Louisiana would face all season long, because the Lions have faced a lot of teams and they were capable of putting a ton of points up on those teams. And that quarterback that they have, I forget what his first name is. I think his last name is Kelly. Cody Kelly, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
But he came out there and he was balling the entire season. And he balls out again against Florida A&M, rendering that defense extremely useless. And then, of course, they gave Florida A&M's offense fits and legit held them scoreless for 3 full quarters until they were capable of scoring 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter. So the Lions ended up walking away with that game, winning 38-14. Making Florida A&M look completely outmatched, but at the same time, that is as successful as Florida A&M was this past season, and they were a 9-win team coming into this game. They did feed a lot off of their conference and didn't necessarily get an opportunity to play a lot of out-of-conference games. And I think that's going to be something that these SWAC teams are going to need to do in the future, that they feel as though not feel, but if they're looking to have more success against these playoff teams, if it's a situation arises again where they're capable of making it as an at-large team again. And I will say this, right? The way things are set up in the SWAC, the fact that they have 12 teams, and I understand that this game might hurt their chances in the future, but if you have another 9-win team in the SWAC and they're capable of doing what Florida A&M has done, along with the potential of having a quality OOC win or out-of-conference victory, I think that the SWAC may be able to go ahead and have another at-large selection, again, if the cards fall right for them the same way that they fell right for Florida A&M this past year. Mm-hmm. But there was a huge conversation about the conditions of the game. I will say this, right? When it was first brought to my attention, the first thing that I saw was the fact that the fans over at Southeastern Louisiana had a bunch of signs, or the signs that I saw were basically just a bunch of penis jokes. Okay, very sophomore, nothing new, but it's new to HBCU fans.
Right.
So there were a lot of HBCU
that took it very
fans
seriously too. I remember
that took those comments very seriously, and I mean jokes like if Florida A&M sits to pee, Florida A&M blows like Monica Lewinsky, ha ha ha, whatever, right? And then of course one of my favorites, my roomie's snake is bigger than FAMU. First and foremost, dude, what you're doing looking at your roommate's penis.
Right.
I mean,
that's another story for another time. Right.
Yeah, your lifestyle choice is your lifestyle choice. It is what it is. But you want to come out here and talk about your roommate's penis. It is what it is, bruh. But I digress. So with that said, I saw that. I said, okay, we just, we heckle different. And that's not necessarily a black or white thing in my eye, right? Because they do that to other PWIs as well.
I didn't have a problem with the heckling. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought the family was being soft about it, but that's not a here nor there.
Yes, right. And I find that to be extremely interesting, especially with how harassing that fan base can be in Tallahassee.
Yes, they are. They're very petty. So
yes, right.
Dive right back at y'all. Take your medicine.
Take your medicine, right? Eat your Flintstone vitamins, right? And the reason why I bring that up, because there was just a situation just this past homecoming for Florida A&M when they played against Grambling, and there was video footage of FAMU fans on the sidelines and on the benches on the Grambling side harassing and heckling the students. One of my favorites, boy, I say don't put me to the test if I was that player. where there were some rather attractive older FAMU alums flirting with Grambling players while the game is going on.
No way.
Saying things like, "You ain't ready for this, young blood. You ain't ready for this season situation going on right here." And security walked
Stifler's
past.
mom.
Yeah, right. And security walked past, saw this going on, and ignored it. This is not supposed to happen on anybody's campus, but yet it happened there.
Yeah.
Another case in point, I know our Aggie fans know this very well. The last time that Florida A&M played against North Carolina A&T in Tallahassee, fall 2019, where there were situations where the A&T's football team felt as though that they were heavily harassed by the fans, so much so that a lot of words were exchanged from players to the people in the stands. And of course, fights started on the field as well. And you can most definitely hear the heckles, the strongly worded heckles coming from fans to the players on the field during the game and as the game ended, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Florida A&M fans are proud of that, but yet they couldn't take that. I found that to be an issue until I read an article from the Tallahassee Democrat that was written by a current student that is currently working for the Democrat that basically described their entire trip going down, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that I had a huge issue with was the fact that racial epithets were tossed at the fans. Now, you talk about me, my response will be similar to Dave Chappelle's. You can't be talking to me because I'm not a nigga, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me. I'm a little bit tougher skinned than that.
Sure.
But I'm not going to say that you're weaker than me because you can't handle it. But I also understand how people handle, slurs of any type, and how demeaning and how bothersome they can become, right? Mm-hmm. Especially in an uncomfortable, unfamiliar surrounding, right? And how that could become, or how that could be looked upon as being extremely threatening, not just to you emotionally, but potentially to you physically.
Right.
So I understand how that could be an issue.
Right.
So I'm not going to begrudge them for feeling bad about that. But that's number one. Number two on the list was the fact that a beer can was thrown and it hit a little girl in the face, hurting her nose.
Oh, wow. That's a fight. That's a fucking fight. Where in that happening? That's a fight. That's a straight up fight, period. That's when two people are going to jail.
Yeah,
right. The girl's daddy, right? And the idiot who threw the can on the girl in the first place.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So in situations like that, but I also understand that us being people of color, we're looked upon a particular way to, not necessarily lash out the situation. But that's a situation where I understandably would be like, you know what, dude?
Yeah.
Do what you need to do, because that's insane. That shouldn't happen. Yeah. That person should have been reprimanded. That person should have been thrown out of the building. Mm-hmm. And it's something that Southeastern Louisiana needs to go ahead and check and deal with. Yeah. I don't know if they will, but it's something that needs to be talked about more and something that they need to handle from going forward, right? Mm-hmm. I can deal with heckling. I can't deal with that type of stuff. Right. So after reading that article, I changed my thought process about what was actually done to them. And something. I'm
surprised why didn't break out. I'm surprised a few riots didn't break out. And that's the case.
I'm surprised too. As much as I didn't like what was done to them, I like the way that Florida A&M handled that situation and their fan base handled that situation, and they didn't make a situation that was bad and ugly one, because it could have gotten extremely ugly. Yeah. And we all understand how that would have been perceived. Oh my God, the black school comes here to Southeast Louisiana and turns out the party because of some words that were exchanged. And there will be some people who try to play innocent when we all know a lot of times that's not necessarily how it goes down.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I've been there, done that, man. I totally agree with that.
Exactly. So, it's unfortunate that had to happen. It's also unfortunate because of how the way Florida A&M compete. Well, how badly that game turned out. But congratulations to Florida A&M for their success on the field. Shout outs to Coach Willie Simmons. And I can't wait until next year to see exactly how that team comes out the gate in 2022 and how they're going to compete in the SWAC coming this upcoming season. Yeah. So with other football games, actually, there's still HBCU action going on right now. Of course, the Celebration Bowl is going to come up in a couple of weeks. Yeah. See y'all guys in Atlanta, God willing. But the games that are going on this weekend, Division II, Bowie State will be going out to face Valdosta State. Oh, that powerhouse in Division II in the Elite Eight. So as of right now, the Bulldogs of PG County are going out there to compete in the quarterfinals of the Division II championships. So this is the furthest that this program has ever made it in the program's history. So shout out to them. Good luck to them in this game that they got against Valdosta State. It's going to be it's going to be a battle against them. And also this weekend, I kind of hinted at this earlier. We talked about the other two championship games happening at 4:00. Like I said before, there is a third. And that third, which is also going to be a big one, is coming from the SWAC. It's going to be Jackson State, led by head coach. Yes, sir. Led by head coach Deion Sanders, facing against Prairie View A&M and head coach Eric Dooley over there at Prairie View. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how this game turns out. Of course, the winner of this game will face South Carolina State in the Celebration Bowl. This is the first time that Jackson State will be participating in the SWAC championship game since 2013. And it's going to be the first time that Prairie View A&M will be participating in the SWAC championship game since 2009. And they had the opportunity of winning the championship for only the second time in 57 years. Really? So it's going to be very interesting to see who walks away with this title game. Of course, Jackson State is the favorite. I think in Vegas, they're 7.5-point favorites right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Yeah. Very right. So it's going to, especially with this game being played in Jackson, Mississippi. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this game plays out. One of the bigger things that I'm going to be keeping an eye out on as well as the matchup is the attendance numbers. Reason why I bring that up. Yeah. Go ahead. I got about those. That stadium seats about 50 to 60,000. Correct. Well, it seats 60,000, right? Right. I think the last championship game they had, outdid the Pac-12 championship game in attendance numbers. And there is a high chance that it happens again this week. So, that the highest attendance numbers for the SWAC championship game, I think, is 43,000. There is a chance they go ahead and they surpass that number. They're going to surpass that. Deion Sanders there, that Jackson State fan, alumni fan base. They're going to just obliterate the shit out of that. Yeah. They've already done 50,000 twice this season already. Right. In that stadium. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what they do and how impressive that's going to be and how impressive that's going to look on ESPN2, because that's where the game has been moved to for this Saturday. So along with that, we had some other news in HBCU athletics. Shout out to Chris Paul. All right. Chris Paul had not one, but two basketball showcases during the Thanksgiving week. The first one was the inaugural Chris Paul HBCU tip-off that happened at the Mohegan Sun Casino up in Connecticut. That involved Winston-Salem State, Morehouse, Virginia Union, and West Virginia State. And if memory, that's not even memory. I'm looking at the score right now. Virginia Union actually defeated Winston-Salem State in the winners bracket, 59-55. So congratulations to Virginia Union for walking away, winning the inaugural HBCU tip-off. And then this one was actually on one of the ESPNs. I can't remember exactly which one. I want to say it was ESPNU, but this was the inaugural Boost Mobile HBCU Challenge hosted by Chris Paul that took place at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. So they played in the home of the Phoenix Suns. Actually, oddly enough, they played in the home of both Suns, the Connecticut Sun and the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
How ironic, right? So the two matchups that were held, you had the Battle of the Bay going on with Norfolk State defeating Hampton 70-61. At the time, they were 8-1. Currently, they're now 9-1. Shout out to the Spartans right now, who have been balling so far this season, playing extremely well with a lot of quality wins this year. And the other game that I actually got a chance to peep a little bit of, Grambling defeating Morgan State 74-69. Well, to 59, I'm sorry. So again, shout out to Chris Paul with his two HBCU basketball tournaments that actually got TV time last week and exposed these 8 programs and an opportunity to give them the light of day where they probably wouldn't have. So thank you to current Winston-Salem State student Chris Paul for that. Actually, today we had some volleyball action with West Virginia State playing Shepherd and Fayetteville State playing Wheeling in the D2 level. I did get a chance to see what the scores were as of yet before taping. So hopefully I'll be able to post those scores once we're done. And then, of course, tomorrow in the Division I level of volleyball in the national tournament, Howard will be facing off against number 9 Ohio State, while Florida A&M will be playing number 16 and in-state rival University of Florida.
Nice. And
to kind of finish this all off, a little sad news in the HBCU realm, and more so in the North Carolina A&T ranks. The volleyball player Fatima Shabazz passed away this past weekend at the age of 22 due to an aneurysm. My God, 22 years old, very young. Dude, to put into perspective, my son is 21 himself. So this is just a baby. And I know the Aggie Nation right now is mourning that loss. And I know the volleyball team is really feeling it right now. Got an opportunity to speak to the sports information director on Tuesday about that. And he was very shocked. The entire university was very shocked by this passing, and they seemed extremely distraught by it. So prayers up to her family, to her friends, and to the entire North Carolina A&T athletics department and the loss that they're dealing with right now.
Well said. Well said. And what time right quick is the Celebration Bowl? This Saturday?
Celebration Bowl is not this Saturday. Celebration Bowl is the 18th of December.
No, not Celebration Bowl. I'm sorry. The
SWAC championship game.
Yeah, what am I
it's
thinking?
4 p.m.
Okay.
On ESPN2. 4 p.m. ESPN2 this Saturday. So it's going to be like me. I'm going to be at the sports bar this weekend. I'm going to be taking in all 3 of those games at 4 o'clock. And then, of course, I'm going to stick around for the Pac-12, or the the Big Ten main event of Michigan and Ohio. So, I'm going to be going ahead and
Michigan, Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to be taking in a whole lot of football at my favorite watering hole this weekend. So that's going to be very interesting. But before we go ahead and wind down, I got to say something about this. One of my